My name is Burnell. I wrote down everything I wanted to say so I don't forget anything. On November 14, 2012, London CAS took me and my siblings away from my mom. The worker Leslie Summers lied and said that she came to see us for 13 months before we were taken. CAS only took us away from my mom because my mom let me stay living with her past the summer. My dad and his girlfriend Heather were abusing me, so I did not want to go back to my dad's for 2 years. Me and my siblings were in CAS hell. I was beaten up by the CYW workers and lied to by CAS workers Steve Dieleman and Anthony Igbidian. They told me and my other siblings that all the time that we would be let us go home to our mom, but that never happened. Instead, they stopped my two younger siblings, Leilani and Phoenix, from going to my mom and stepdad's wedding in June 2014, and took away my cell phone, and from me cut off contact with my family, my lawyer, and my advocate that I had for months. These CAS workers told me I could have my cell phone back, but that never happened. I was only a kid in my class when I started high school, and to not have a cell phone, I was embarrassed by the other kids in my foster home because they had cell phones and I was not allowed because CAS said I would have unmonitored contact with my mother, although my legal rights say that I'm allowed to have they're not allowed to monitor my phone calls with my family. I saw my siblings get beat up, burned, and molested by their foster parents, and my sister Leilani told me what was being done to her CAS worker did not care. Instead, all they said was eventually me and my siblings would go home. In August 2014, CAS cut off my contact and my siblings' contact with my mom for no good reason, so I got fed up with it and I ran away in October 2014. I have been hiding for 9 months, and so let me be clear, my mom and stepdad have nothing to do with me running away. They are not helping me. I have other people help me, and I would have been taking my siblings with me if I had the chance. My demands are simple. CAS agrees to return me and my siblings to my mom right now. CAS returns all my personal stuff to my mom right now. My sister Lauren gets to come home because her dad right now is being abusive and never takes care of her. If I am ignored, you will not find me. I will stay hiding until after I turn 16, which time I will know that CAS will not be allowed to touch me again, and then I will come forward. I will go to every media out there and have my story told. I will not stop until I have successfully sued the London CAS for their lies and abuse. I want to go home to my mom, and I know my siblings do so too. So please listen to me, or I will make it my mission to bring down the CAS until their changes to their organization happens.
I'm Kristen.
This would be Lauren.
And I'm Donovan.
And these kids are here to tell their stories as to what has happened to them at the hands of the Children's Aid Society of London and Middlesex. Who would like to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
I was ripped out of my mother's care at the age of 14 years old. And what? Okay, you go. Donovan, go. When were you taken?
I was ripped out of my mom's care various times in my life. I got taken once in 2002, once in 2008, and once in 2013 or 2012.
2012. Okay.
How old are
I am 13 years old.
Lauren here is 8.
you? I'm Megan. 14.
This is Kristen. She's 15.
No.
Currently.
I was placed in a foster home, well, group home in Kitchener, when I could have been placed in London with my brother.
Me, I was in foster homes in London throughout this whole thing, and then in 2008 I got moved to my dad's house.
What
What's the
happened?
best?
What happened at your dad's house?
I got abused. I met some really bad people and crap like that.
How were you abused?
Mentally and physically.
I'm sorry, but you're going to have to be a little bit more specific.
I was mentally abused by my father by him calling me names, which I did not like, and then he hit me repeatedly when I do stuff wrong, or when he was drunk or high.
Did your dad get drunk and high all the time?
Mostly all the time.
Okay. I heard there was a girlfriend too. What was she like?
She was hell.
How was she hell?
She would physically and mentally abuse me as well as my dad, the exact same ways my dad would.
Did you try to tell the Children's Aid Society?
Yes, I did, and they told my father, and it just got a lot more worse.
And what happened after that?
Well, at the beginning of the summer of 2012, my dad tried to pick me up in, I think it was September or August. My dad tried to pick me up. I think it was August 5th.
Okay.
My dad dropped me off.
On August 5th, okay. And what happened when he dropped you off? Is this the time where you were pushed out of the car?
Pushed out of the car in like winter or summer. I don't remember. 9 months ago. Oh, in 2009.
Oh, okay.
I remember he's coming back to me bit by bit, so.
Okay. What do you remember about being with your mom?
My mom? Well, my mom, I was secure, safe. I had my siblings. I had my own privacy at my mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
Life was actually awesome at my mom's house.
What kind of things did you do?
Well, I used to swim all the time, hang out with my friends. I went for a baseball league for 3 or 4 years.
That sounds pretty fun. And how did you feel when the society took you out away from your mom and put you with your dad?
I didn't feel safe. I felt really scared, and that's around it.
Okay. And what has happened with since the last time your parents, the CAS came and took you from your mom?
Well, they tried to apprehend me on, I think it was
In
October.
November. It was November of
They
2012.
tried to apprehend me before that in October,
Okay.
and they told me that they have a new court order that said that.
It said that your dad had custody of you?
Yeah, they said that they have a new order about CAS is gonna place me back to my dad, and then when I called my mom, they told me not to. Well, I couldn't get a hold of my
Who
mom.
told you not to?
The CAS worker that always said that.
Do you remember her name?
No, I don't.
Was it Leslie Summers?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
For some reason, it's a family.
Was it Brittany?
Her name was Brittany. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, to be honest.
Okay. And that's when your mom showed up, and then what
Yeah.
happened?
Well, I found out that CAS lied to me and said that, and they tried to use an invalid order, saying that, that was, to be honest, I don't remember pretty much all of it, but all I remember is me crying and me leaving, and I didn't go to school for like 3 weeks because how scared I was.
Okay. And what did your mom do to help you to feel more safe and secure after this happened?
Well, she calmed me down, and then after when I felt more secure and safe, she sent me back to school, and the day that I got sent back to school, the day I got taken out of school and put into a foster home.
And what happened when you were in this foster home?
Well, I met 3 kids. Actually, no, technically 4 now, but their names were Andrew, Simon Simpson, Dean Kellett, Todd Everett Owens, and Ashton Dinola.
Okay. And what kind of experiences did you have in this foster home?
Well, I met a guy named Nathan McCory. He was pretty nice to me.
Okay.
Him and my mom got along really well because they both have contact with each other, like, my mom would ask all the time about me and all that kind of stuff. And Nathan made sure that I was safe. He was trying to help me get back my mom.
Okay.
And then he had to leave due to, well, some injuries that he had before I met him.
Okay.
And then we have this new girl named Kim Johnson.
Mhm.
She's not the nicest kind of person that you'll meet.
And why is she not the nicest kind of person?
She's very, like, demanding. She expects a lot more than you think that you'll be able to do.
Okay.
And she just pushes you and pushes you and pushes you, and she likes to argue a lot with other people.
Okay, is this also the lady that you had told me previously was searching through your belongings?
Yes.
And why did she say she was searching through your belongings?
Because a foster kid named, well, Aunt Ashton had weed with him, and then they thought I would have weed, so they started searching through my stuff, looking through it, see if I have weed or not.
Okay, and what happened after you had shown this worker your rights while being in care of the society?
Well, technically she's not a worker, but
Okay, well what did she do?
She said that I don't have the right to have this, and she ripped it up.
Thanks, Donovan. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No thanks.
Okay. Lauren, hi. I know it seems like it's really nerve-wracking and everything, but just try to remember right now it's just you and me talking, okay? Are you ready to do this? Do you want me to go on to Kristen and then I can talk with you after, just you and me? Okay, that works. Okay, so Kristen, can you
Hiya.
tell us about your story?
Sure. Where do you want me to start?
Wherever you'd like.
Ask questions first. I don't care.
Okay, well, we're going to start with what's gone on with you since the CAS had taken you in November of 2012.
Okay. Well, when they took me, they decided to put me in handcuffs and put me in the back of a cop car.
Did they say anything to you before they did this?
Nope. They never said anything. They didn't say those 4 lines that you're supposed to say before you arrest somebody or anything. Hello?
This is Kristen's advocate calling her right now. She will be back in a minute. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
Hi. Well, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be asking you, so is there anything you'd like to tell me?
Well, it all started when I was 5, because that's when my dad started dating Jen.
Okay.
And then a few months later...
Jen would be the other 3 children's mother.
And then you met me.
Yeah. Well, no, I met you with Jen. Anyway.
Okay, true enough.
And then a few months later when I was, I think it was 4 or 5, she had Lauren.
Okay.
And then she went away with Lauren, and I didn't get to see her for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a huge thing with him and her and my dad, and then he finally worked things out when I was 13. I finally could be able to go over and see Jen.
Okay.
And before that, my dad was dating this one girl named Cherish,
Okay.
and she was really abusive, and
How was she abusive?
well, she was mentally abusive.
Okay. And what did your dad do about this?
Nothing.
He just allowed it?
Yeah, because he was always gone at work,
Okay.
so he'd come home, I'd tell him, and then I was always the one that got in trouble for her yelling at me or something, and for like Spencer abusing me and stuff.
Okay. So basically he just said that you were at fault because you were being yelled at?
Yeah, and I would have to do something, otherwise she would yell at me.
What was she yelling at you about? Like, what was she asking you?
Me and her son didn't get along because he had anger issues.
Okay.
So he raised his fists at me a lot, and he always, well, like if he was angry at his mom, he'd come and beat me up.
Okay.
And they'd just say, oh, well, yes, he has anger issues, but you would have to do something for him to come and do that to you.
Okay.
even if I didn't do anything.
Okay.
But I always missed Jen, and I always wanted to be around her and stuff.
So basically you were never allowed to be around Jen and you just wanted to be.
Yeah. And they said that she was bad for me and everything else like that. And
Did they say how she was bad for you?
no, they just said that she was bad for me. And then I said to them, then let me make my own decisions. And if it's a mistake being around her, it's a mistake. And he said, you're too young to make your own decisions.
Okay.
So I wasn't allowed to see her until I was 13.
Okay. And what happened once you were allowed to see her?
It was a lot more calmer. And
Okay.
I was away from Cherish and Spencer at the time.
Okay.
But I got to see Leilani and Phoenix and Donovan again.
Yeah. And what was it like being with them and in their home?
It was a lot better than at my dad's house.
How was it better?
There wasn't yelling and I wasn't always doing stuff wrong.
Okay, so basically you felt more content and happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. You look a little uncomfortable.
A little bit.
Yeah,
Nerve-wracking.
I understand. Makes me nervous too. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
Not really. I gained a relationship with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And Phoenix, Leilani. And they all look up at me. And
So basically you're just trying to say that you think it's unfair that you're not being permitted to have the relationship with the people you love.
yeah, and I'm not allowed in the access visit. Like I was allowed in the access visits when they first took them away.
Okay.
And then when my dad came to drop me off with Lauren,
Mm-hmm.
they said that I wasn't on the list and I wasn't allowed to be in the access visit,
Okay.
even though I'd been there before.
And when did this happen?
That was last year, or it happened a while ago, I don't remember the time.
Okay. And you haven't seen them since?
Mm-mm.
And have you made requests to see them?
Yeah, they just keep saying that they don't know me and they have to have a conversation with me and they'll have to book it, and then they never end up doing that and never came over, so I've never been able to see them.
Here's another classic example, folks, of how the Children's Aid Society says that they're looking out for the best interest of the children, and yet clearly they're neglecting the best interest. Thanks. Lauren, you ready to come and talk to me? You can try, yeah.
She whispered into my
Yeah.
ear and I think
Well, everybody's back, so I guess this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Lauren. Oh, like you're shy with me, really. Well, I'm going to ask the questions and you whisper your answers to Kristen, and Kristen can give the answers to me. Is that fair? Okay. Well, I heard that you'd had some pretty big opinions, and there's things that you want to say. So what is it that you want to come out of all of this?
Yeah, tell Donovan if you want to. They tied one up into a jail.
Are you talking about a foster home that you were in?
Apparently they tied Lauren up into a chair when she was younger into a group.
Okay, now what happened here is back in 2008, Lauren and Donovan, these two children, were placed into a foster home at the hands of the Children's Aid Society of London and Middlesex. And Lauren right now is talking about things that she had endured while in this foster home.
By the way, I was with Lauren for 3 days in the same foster home. Then I got kicked out.
Why were you kicked out?
Because I was being uncooperative and to whatever they were doing.
Okay. So Lauren is talking about the fact that they used to tie her to a chair. Do you want to tell somebody why?
If I did something bad,
Like what?
like if I spilt something by accident, they would put me on a timeout.
And they tied you to a chair for a timeout? Did you tell anybody about this? You don't remember? Okay, well I also heard you say something the other day about somebody was hitting you. Do you remember that? You don't remember saying that? That you got spanked a lot? No? So all you remember is that you were tied to a chair for timeouts? Do you remember what they used to tie you to a chair?
I don't know. I know.
Like a string or a rope or something. Can you describe it?
I don't know what I remember my life.
Do you remember how long they used to tie you up to a chair for?
I don't know. I have bad memory.
So it just felt like it was for a long time? Yeah? And then what happened when they let you come out from your timeout?
I don't know. Probably went on a rampage.
You think they went on a rampage?
No, I did.
You did. Okay, and how did you feel?
Yeah, sad.
Yeah.
Were you scared?
Yeah.
She was also scared.
And you were feeling scared too?
Yes, hold on.
She was actually
She's doing
For me to hear her.
yeah, you're perfect, Dad.
she's doing good. Do you remember going back to your mommy's? Do you remember being at your mom's house throughout your life? Do you remember going back to your mom's house? No? Well, what's it like at your mom's house?
It's happy, it feels happy, and she gets me whatever she can. She cares for me.
Yeah.
She doesn't hit me.
No.
She doesn't hit me like my dad would.
Really? Well, how do you feel? How do you feel when you're at your mommy's house?
Happy.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't feel scared. She gets me things like she got me Minecraft. That was, she had to pay off of her credit card. That was kind of a lot of money, and she got me a lizard. And she caught a frog for me.
She caught a frog for you? That takes one special mom. I mean, my daughter asked me one time to grab her a frog, and there was no way I was going to do that. Seriously. I always thought they were so slimy and gross.
It was a toad, and it, like, she saw it and it hopped on her, like, porch, and it hopped in a bush.
Mhm.
So she was trying to catch it for me.
Yeah? And how long did you have that toad?
Until I had to show my friend, and then I let it go with my friend.
Well, that's really nice of you.
And I named him, like, Dragon.
You named him Dragon? That's a pretty good name. What else do you remember?
Yeah.
Well, what else do you remember about being at your mom's house? Like different things you did with your mom?
Mommy and me time.
Mommy and me time? Do you want to tell me about mommy and me time?
It's like where mommy like has time with me
Mm-hmm.
whenever she can.
And what do you do when you have the special time with your mom?
We go out or something.
And you do stuff together?
time is usually where our mother would usually spend about an hour or two with us, and we'd usually go wherever we choose and stuff that we want to do for the hour that we have together alone.
That's pretty cool. So basically you get to choose what you do and talk about anything you want to talk about? Yeah? And was your mom fun about it? Well, that's really cool.
She even went down to the lake with me.
She did?
Well, yeah, whenever I was sad and somebody was going snake hunting, like my friend was going snake hunting, my dad didn't let me go with him, so my mom took me down to the lake and checked it out with me.
That's cool. Did you learn how to skip rocks? No? I should show you that sometime. It's pretty fun. It is so when you do it right.
Yeah. I remember when Jen was pregnant with Laura and me, Sarah and her, we went down to the creek near the house and she would catch toads.
Really?
Yeah, and Jen had to go up to the chicken place to wash her hands because she didn't want warts on her hands from the toads.
Sounds like Jen's pretty fun.
The best.
So Lauren, you went to your daddy's house. Can you want to tell me a bit about your daddy?
Whenever he gets mad at me, sometimes he yells at me a lot, and if I want to do something, he doesn't do it with me.
And what does he tell you why he doesn't do it with you?
No, I'm like, can I go to my friends sometimes? And he says no sometimes. And whenever I don't want to go to hockey for one day, that's one day, I can just miss one day, he just wants me to go. He won't let me take one way away from him.
Well, that's not fun. Do you think that you're put around anybody that makes you feel not good?
He a long time ago, he used to hit me.
He hit you. Well, that's not good. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about your dad? I heard you say the other day that you didn't like being with your dad. Is that true?
Sometimes if he gets really angry at me and I go to bed. My dad said I could go on the computer downstairs. He's like, no, you can't go on the computer. No, you can't go on the computer. My mom talked to him and see if I could go on the computer. And I went down on the computer and I wanted to play How to Train Your Dragon because I was looking at dragon games.
Okay.
And Kristen went down to help me, sign me in and stuff,
Okay.
and install it. And my dad went down there and I was sitting on the table, waiting until Kristen. And then whenever I was down there, on the desk, he pulled me off the desk and he shut off the internet on Kristen, and yelled at us and sweared at us.
Well, that's not very nice.
And took us off
Do you have any happy moments with your dad?
sometimes.
Like what?
Sometimes he takes me to the store or something.
And that's all you remember for happy times with your dad?
He takes you fishing.
Yeah, he takes me fishing whenever he feels like it. Whenever he can.
Okay.
Work things out with his, his brother. He's called Uncle Tim. He owns a lake, where a house is, where a big lake is, and you can go fishing off the dock. Whenever it snows, we can go ice fishing.
Oh, cool. Sounds fun. So you have some fun with your dad. But what would you like to see out of this whole situation of everything that's going on and all the bad stuff that you've heard? What would you like to happen?
I want it to happen, have fun times and not get yelled at or hit.
Okay, so basically you just want to feel happy and have more fun. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Thank you. Is there anything else you want to tell me? Or you feel like you're done? Okay. Thank you. No problem. Now it's your turn.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So we had started, or we were talking about when they took you back in 2012.
Yeah. Okay, well, what happened was when they dragged me out of the house in handcuffs, with me crying, kicking and screaming at them, telling them I didn't want to go and I wanted to stay with my mom. They put me in the back of the cop car and yelled at me for a half an hour to an hour, yelling and asking me where my brother and sister were, till I snapped and said, I know where they are, they're at the babysitter's. And I showed them where they were, and I showed them everything. They said that I could say goodbye to them only if I wasn't crying or freaking out inside or anything like that. And the second I started crying, when I told my sister I loved her, and she said it back to me, and it was time for me to see my baby brother, and they took me back into the car and they said, till you stop crying, you have about 5 minutes to stop crying. If you don't, then they're leaving.
And you wouldn't be able to say goodbye to your brother?
Yeah, and I wouldn't be able to say goodbye or anything. I stopped crying and I stopped everything. I said goodbye to Phoenix with my baby brother, and I hugged him, and when he hugged me back, I started to cry again, and they physically grabbed him and ripped him away from me and said, that's enough, you're done, and put me in the car and didn't tell me where we were going. We got on the highway, I asked them where we were going, and I was still crying and freaking out. They still wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't say anything. Then when I seen the sign for Kitchener, and we started to pull into Kitchener, I said, where are you taking me in here? They said, you have no business knowing. And they took me to a place called Hats Off in Kitchener-Waterloo, and made me stay in a prison cell pretty much for about 3 months, I think it was. And about a month and a half, 2 months, I snapped after being tortured and yelled at and sworn at and saying that I wouldn't see my brothers and sisters ever again if I wouldn't lie or anything.
What did they want you to lie about?
They wanted me to say that my mom was giving me my brothers and sisters drugs, and that she was a bad parent and just bad parents pretty much. That she wasn't taking care of us, that I'd have to babysit the younger ones all the time because I'm the oldest. And that I was doing drugs under my mom's roof, which I wasn't. My mom took me to places to get me off the drugs. She called and she rearranged places for me to get help.
When did you start doing drugs?
I started doing drugs at the age of, I think, around 11.
And where were you when you started this?
At my dad's. My dad is a drug addict. He smokes weed, he drinks alcohol, and I'm pretty sure he does cocaine too.
Doesn't he grow weed in his garage?
Yes, he grew weed outside and indoors. And he supplied me with my weed. He gave me money for my drug habits, and he gave me cigarettes, and I started smoking cigarettes too. I have been in my mom's care for now a week. I have not had an urge to smoke cigarettes, to have any weed, to have to do with any other kind of drugs.
And why is that?
Because my mom has got me the help I need, and I feel safe and secure in my mom's home.
Hasn't she basically sent you to rehab? Hasn't she basically sent you to rehab?
As long as you stay. Okay, and what happened recently?
Recently, CAS tried to come in with a fake warrant and take me out of my mom's care. After an hour and a half of me sitting on the ground saying you're going to have to physically pick me up, with me punching you in the face and knocking you out, taking me into a car and taking me back to the same prison cell I was in a year ago.
They said they were going to take you back to the same place?
Yeah, and when me and my mom said that we have 3 other places where I can stay, they denied my request to look into that.
They denied your request? What did they say to you?
They said that, too bad, this is the place where we have set up for you,
Okay.
and that's it.
And they wouldn't look into anything else?
No.
Okay, and then what happened after you told them you weren't leaving?
They said that I had to.
More renovations going on?
And you chose not to, and then what did they do?
That's good, that's bad.
After I said I did not want to go, they kept on saying that I had to. They had a warrant on me.
Okay.
Hello.
And so, after about an hour and a half of this going back and forth, what happened?
After that, one of the girls, her name was Kobe. I don't remember her last name. Vina Doll. Called her supervisor, and they said that apparently they can't take me out of the house kicking and screaming and fighting. So they were forced to leave my mother's home.
Okay.
And after that, me and my mom got our shit, and we left right away.
Okay. So, did they say anything to you while they were leaving?
They said that we have court within 5 days after that, and that we had to be there.
Okay.
And they were gonna they were gonna most likely get a thing for them to physically force me out of my mother's care, where I am supported, loved, cared for, and well, healthy.
Okay. And what would you like to see come out of all of this?
What?
What would you like to see come out of this whole situation?
I like to see my brothers and sisters come back home because they are safe in my mom's care, and I'm loved and cared for. And
So basically you just want the family back together.
yeah, pretty much.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
Oh, and when I was at my dad's home, I was also abused.
How?
Mentally and physically.
Okay. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what happened?
My dad used to hit me when I'd say that I wanted to go back to my mom's.
Okay.
And he'd get all mad at me when I said I wanted contact with my mom.
Okay.
And his sister, my aunt, used to sit there and yell and swear at me, saying my mom's a crackhead whore, and saying that my mom's no good for me and I could do way better without her, and that all what I'm gonna end up being when I go back there is she's gonna set me up to be a whore.
That's pretty tragic to hear. And what happens when you would tell the Children's Aid Society that you wanted your mom?
They sit there and they deny my request. After my social worker being a bitch to me and not accepting my request, I told her to fuck off, and I did not want anything to do with her.
Okay.
She came on my property, I would physically remove her from my property,
Okay.
and I called the cops.
Okay.
I did not want anything to do with CAS. After the first day of school started, they had to close my file
Okay.
because I did not want social workers in my life anymore.
Okay.
And they said that I was apparently okay and fine in my dad's home, which I was not. And I told them hundreds of times that I wanted to go back and live with my mom. My mom has done more help than my dad ever has in the 15 years that he tried to raise me.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, thanks for talking.
Thank you. Oh, yes, and also my dad was pervertive to my stepsister, who's sitting right here. When my mom and my sister went down to Cornwall to bring me back, I think it was on March break,
Okay.
they brought me
Was
back
it
to
March
my
break
dad.
of this year?
No,
So it was last
it
year?
was, I think, 3 years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago, sorry. A year ago? 2010.
2012.
2. 2002?
No, it was 2012.
2012. Okay. Well, 2012 when my mom brought me back from London to where I was living with my dad, and I visit my mom.
Okay.
She drove down even though she was sick
Okay.
and she wasn't feeling good. She drove me and my sister down so that me and my sister could have a night together, one last night, just me and her.
Okay.
And as soon as my mom and my sister left, my dad turns and looks at me and says, my sister has a nice ass and nice boobs and that she's hot. That is pretty perverted
Yes.
to me to hear that.
That's
And he
perverted in
used
the
to-
first place. I mean, she's a child.
And on top of that, he used to sit there, and after my friends would leave, he'd call them hot or say they'd have a nice ass. Same thing with my cousin when she would wear spandex. She had spandex leggings, and she came over to my house one day to come and get me to go to Timmy's.
Okay.
And when I came back and she left, my dad turned and looked at me and said that she had a nice ass.
Wow.
And he'd also make comments like that about anybody that I'd have sleep over or be with. And that's why I never have any of my friends come over or sleep over or anything. And I try my best to sleep out because I find it nasty in so many ways.
It's very
And
inappropriate.
I don't need my friends hearing that things said about them. Because for one, that is totally uncalled for and totally nasty. And I've also had my dad say, when I've talked to my friends and said, my friend had tattoos, and I said that I wanted one, and where I would get one, and he was walking up the stairs one day, and he heard us talking about tattoos. He walked up the stairs one day, and he said, well, if I ever got a tattoo, it would be on my dick.
Seriously.
Seriously, with my friends there, sitting in the kitchen table, and he'd walk up the stairs and say that.
Wow.
It was really nasty and uncalled for, and I find it completely shocking. Like I had no comment
Unbelievable,
after.
basically, yes. I
I had
understand.
like nothing to say after that. I
Yes.
wouldn't talk to my dad for 2 days after he said that,
Mhm.
or I wouldn't talk to him at all for a while after he said those things about my friend.
Wow.
Because that is just completely nasty. My
Okay.
dad is a big pervert like that, and I am never going back to my dad's care ever again. My mom has done so much for me, and my mom does not sit there and say those things about my friends or anything.
Mhm.
My mom has only tried to help me in the entire time I've been in her care.
That's good.
And that's it.
Is there anything else? Well, thanks for sharing.
Welcome.
She already talked.
We're done?
Thanks, guys.